Greetings, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. Rhett's out in the living room. Just tired. Everybody I know is tired. I think it's because the days are getting shorter. I think that's the basic reason. But I also think, I guess, a lot of people are very low immune, like weakened immune systems at this time and stuff like that. But anyways, it is 1:37 p.m. on Saturday. Gosh, it's nice, sort of, like if you are really tired to be really tired on Saturday. Yeah, it's a thing. But anyways, so I was my plan for today on this was to like create like a 3 minute video of how this all works. But I realized like it's so funny how right out of the gate a lot of times you're going to work on something and you realize you don't even have the very first thing. And I've seen that happen on teams that were working for 3 years. Like they didn't have a coder for 2 or 3 years, and they were just like writing requirements and test plans and this and that, and having agile meetings and grading reports, showing little thing moving along the checkboard. Oh, we're 90% done, and they haven't written a line of code yet. Um, and then find out the very first thing requirement isn't physically possible. And like kind of the first thing to actually having a useful how to would be like what URL we're at. Um, Doing it from the local host doesn't really prove anything. Um, you really want to do it from the distribution. So I was like, well, okay, so I need to do distribution video for it. So basically, I'm a mile away from that. Um, so so now I want to move a different requirement, and the next requirement is probably going to be one of the most annoying things in this whole thing, and that's what could go wrong. Um, as I've used this technology, I've learned about things in the browsers in general that sort of make them not nearly as safe to use from a lot of various different situations, but especially like from data and all that. And I don't know, yeah. So the way the architecture of the technology, um, and then the way this has all been set up, I think could be very misleading to a user. And then what's the worst part about it is I don't know what words you could possibly put together to express what I would be trying to say here. And one is I don't collect any data, none. There's no cookies, no nothing. There is no data being collected about you from me. Now, are you on this page? Is your data being collected? Yes. Coming to this page, go into your browser and type in this URL does not protect your data, and especially not on this application, because when your voice gets recorded, it actually gets sent to either Microsoft or Google. Then they can determine exactly who you are, for most people on the web, from your voice. So this is a clear tracking system, even if it's not to figure out what you're saying and all that. But if you tell them the words you're saying into a technology like this, that information can be used probably in some ways to help you, in some ways to hurt you, and it just depends on who they sell the data to. So things like that. I thought what would happen is information JavaScript is running on this browser. The JavaScript that is running is on your computer, and then that stuff that's on your computer is safe. You don't have to worry about anybody doing that. It's because it's in the memory on your computer. It would be very difficult for someone to have something that decodes your memory. Um, so that is good, but the problem is that you're you're retrieving and pushing data to a third party, and depending on the browser, all that. So you could have some pop up that says, "Hey, I don't collect your data. B, your data is being collected." And when you put your voice into this, your data is being collected and sent. So I don't know what that means, and it's hard to tell what that's going to mean. Like, so when I first started coding professionally, there was a lot of concerns that when code got scanned, if you if there was some code that was copied from like some website, that you could, your people that you work for, can could get sued for copyright. And um, people were really freaking out about that. And I used to, we used to actually be monitored in that we were not allowed to copy, use Control C from any website. Like we had to either type it off piece by piece or kind of understand what the website's doing and then recreate it yourself. But every line of code had to be individually written. They had to be able to do that. And then that just went away. Like now you can copy paste code to all your delights, and there's no so you would have thought. But then like cookies, on the other hand, cookies were just a little piece of information and all that. Next thing you know, those that became a huge problem, and everybody is um, like, you have to have these little pop-ups to say, hey, we collect cookies and blah blah blah, would you like to opt out of certain ones of these cookies? And it's just like I don't collect any cookies. But anyway, so that one you actually had to do something about. So the first one you didn't have to do anything about. It was copy and pasting is fine. Second one, we ended up having to do something about. So I don't know where we stand on this technology, the way it works. And I don't know, because I don't want to have like a pop-up that says, hey, everything is cool, I don't collect your code, anything. Um, because that implies to you that nothing of yours is being collected. And our language is in a place where it's going to be very difficult to communicate that effectively. But that is, I think, the first thing that I want to put in the what could go wrong. But I guess what we should do is, so if we look at that one's kind of ugly, but like about the site, that's definitely better. Um, so I think they're all like integrated on the actual app page. Is that right? Okay, so let's see where this line of code is. And that is another thing that I know I've brought up a few times, but I remember what I'm doing here was not effective. Like every single website that I worked on for like 10 years, it was all about um, for 10 years it was all um, about the site. I can't remember what I was about to say. Oh, it was all about internationalization. There was like you could never find any text anywhere. You always had to find the code and then go figure out whatever their crazy JSON that has 20, and every single line, it was its own standalone page. And then, like I said, that just disappeared. Now I do know that apparently there's constant complaints about in Angular about the way internationalization works. I don't really understand the ins and outs of it, but I think, yeah. Anyways, and they say it's just not a high priority, which to me, makes perfect sense. Okay, so about this project. So we're gonna change that to what could go wrong. And then we're going to put in a paragraph. It looks like that's kind of thing we did. Okay, so I say, and I guess maybe we want to see how this looks with the H2. I guess this is maybe the format we want to go with, H2. Data. data privacy. And just kind of do the text. I do think it is a little bit misleading, though, that you go to, like, you may go to a website and it'll be like, oh, we don't collect anything, and then you think none of your data is being. I think it's very reasonable for you if someone said none of we don't collect any of your data, that none of your data is being collected. And I guess the definition of we is, you have to define the word we, I guess. Privacy, API changes. Property, what is it? Feature flags. All right, so let's see how that looks. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can think of. API changes could really burn you. Feature flag. Okay, so H2 is definitely too big. Don't know how H1 is getting set. Okay, so H2, we definitely don't want it text align centered, and we want it to be smaller. That's fun. Let's see what we got. Oh, we don't want it text align centered. I feel like that's good. Guess we want a little bit of margin right. It's like to the left. Well, oh, that's because it's centered. Okay, yeah, it'll be way to the left. Yeah, no, I think that's going to be perfect. Maybe I guess it probably should be a little smaller. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. Okay, so basically we probably want to do a pretty good technical dive into data privacy. You're definitely sharing. If you use this API, you push that button, you are sharing the user's data with Microsoft at that point. It seems like the browser should be the thing, that the browser and the pop-up should be where, and they probably will. Right now, basically, I think when you use this thing, and if you say record, so you get this. The localhost wants to use your microphone. It doesn't say, and by the way, it's going to send what you said to Microsoft or to Google. I don't know which one I think is done more bad deeds. And then obviously both of them have done good deeds, but it's easy to focus on the bad deeds. Anyways, yeah, so yeah, this I think is a bit, I think they need to add a little bit more. I wonder why I don't get a hand on that. I guess I could search on record continuous to find, or we could just try indicators, tab content. Oh, okay, yeah, that's it, I think. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna type in record continuous. This is one of those things that, like, typically you're going to we do have styles, buttons. I think it's cursor, right? Cursor pointer. Yeah, you just may never ever get to it. Why are you not a pointer? Or is that what pointer is? I think Microsoft fought for hand. They used to have a hand, but just see if this is even working. Yeah, see now it's like a move, like a little arrows. So let's go pointer. Okay, so that is all we need to do is make button the cursor pointer. So why is our button, I think we have a button. It's dot button, so it doesn't look like we use the dot button class. Don't know why. Let's go ahead and go in there and look real quick. Okay, so yeah, we don't have any. Okay, so I think there's nothing wrong with saying, oh, okay, so that was buttons, not button. Okay, I'm just gonna see if I can just take care of it right here. Now this will only take care of continuous record. So this is kind of one of the downsides to having this in two different components, but see if that works. Okay. So basically I just had to set the thing, but set the style. I have no idea why it would not, like why would it not ever be? But, oh, now discrete is working. Oh, I wonder, I happen to have a record button here. Does it use a record button? Doesn't. It just has its own button. Over here, let's go look in discrete and see if I use. App record button. Yeah, so one of them I use like another one, and I guess I was taking care of that. I thought but so that, like I said, that's not kind of like, you probably wouldn't want to actually do that on like a project that's being like actively developed. Just go in there and just make a random change like that. It can be very, very disturbing to people when they kind of are trying to look over, try to figure out what went wrong from Git. So looking at Git, and then for some reason you're changing things that are just nowhere near what you were doing. But you know, if you're like right at the end and there aren't really a whole lot of commits and there's really just one person working on it, then yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. But anyway, so tomorrow is the what could go wrong, and then from a data privacy, you know, and I think it should be pretty easy to ask ChatGPT. So like just like so built a website that leverages the voice API for listening. Did I spell it right? I think that there may be some legal issues. So basically, my site does not collect data, but I suspect that Google and MS collect data when the voice is uploaded to their clouds. The audio often does leave. Often? What? Every time. So I feel like all of this, um, see, like this may, you might need to, you might not, you might just look like a weirdo, especially EU, GDR. Users should be told before their voice audio is processed by a third party. So yeah, so like maybe somebody in another country would be able to um, sue you for your website. Who knows? Like one of the funniest things I ever experienced was I used to work for this place where we had uh, we had a website, we had assets, we had pictures and stuff, and there was some other website, some other person had a website, and he instead of showing his own and uploading his own pictures, he used our pictures. And then anytime we would change our pictures, he'd be like, "You just broke my website." And we're like, "Dude, you're serving off of our thing." And he sued us. He actually sued the company I worked for because he said we were maliciously destroying his website, and it all had to be explained how it all works. And the judge really had a hard time figuring out. My understanding was, I wasn't there for that, but it was just like, can you, if you just literally make a website that where you expose people to third parties, like whatever API that browser is using, can you get sued for that, even though you didn't collect any data or anything? Um, that This one is like I could see a problem with, yeah. Oh geez, like if somebody just decided to say their social security or credit card number or whatever, and it gets harvested, is that on you as the person who exposed this? So which may transmit your audio. Um, and then that, like, what if they have a flag and they turn on voice on any website, like, but it's their flag, and then you just by merely visiting that website, the questions are pretty you get pretty weird. So I feel like uh, see, I feel like this format is actually really nice. It would be probably best to just copy it and say, add these like this H3s, and then just copy and paste that. Let's see if I can do this. Can you give me 1 through 4 in HTML? Thinking longer. There we go. We'll have this might work as is. That would be good. Okay, I think they provide like a copy code. All right, so where are you? Hit this back button. Hit back. one more, I think. Let's just see if that code looks at all decent in here. What? Okay, what was it? They had JavaScript in here? Why? Oh my gosh, they have to be such weirdos. Okay, see. Okay, can you remove the JavaScript? And we'll just copy this and see what we get in here. See, it's like you have to know what you're doing, you know. Okay, so for some reason it does not like the paragraph. And it doesn't mind the paragraph up top, but it doesn't like the one at the very end. And it thinks that the paragraph was already closed, and there are paragraphs. It's such a pain in the butt. Okay, let's hit save and see if it actually breaks. I think we've run into this weird paragraph thing before. Let's turn that into a div. Okay, so I don't know. Something is really screwy. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's just get rid of it. There's definitely something wrong with that. If that compiles, there's a huge problem. We'll have to just work piece by piece until we figure it out. And then all this stupid crap. It's pretty nice though. So, and then I guess, yeah, we aren't getting like scripted. This has kind of screwed me up. All right, so let's ask for a little bit less. Okay, can you move the IDs and inline styles? And maybe we'll just ask for it to be in a table instead of all this stuff. Okay, so oh yeah, so yeah, I guess down here at the bottom, I don't know how that's gonna look. So let's try this code. It's amazing how much smaller the code's gotten. So like this time, it's, you know, saved me a lot of time. It's gonna, when it's all said and done, it's gonna have saved me a lot of time. So paragraph. Okay. Can you put these in a table? It's like when you're first learning how to do these things, you know, they just take time. so actually it looks like what I want to do is get everything from here. And I'm very confused at what that even is. To here. Let's see if that works for me. So it puts it in a, and I think I want, well, okay. I don't think I want the I think I don't already have an H2. We'll see how that turns out. Okay, so it doesn't seem to like that at all. So let's do this. Okay, so I think we're having an issue with the overflow. It seems like the overflow is hidden. Okay, so I'm using Angular. And okay, so using Angular material dialog, the overflow won't show a, the overflow won't show a slider. Okay, so I think it's saying that it was talking about doing something about with the tables, but I don't think that's relevant here. Okay. So over here in this, oh, it's in this ng template though. What happens if I just take this whole thing and just put it in its own? I think I'm gonna have to do that. Put it in its own div, and then it definitely feels like it's. Wait, where's my table end? Right there. This is where like kind of the downside to like trying to do these inline. You know, it's very straightforward too. Okay. Oh, okay. So the table was already indented a little bit. So tab, and then wrong thing. I feel like that looks right. H1 and then our H2, and then we have our table, and then but I guess what we wanted to do, what did they, voice table. Dialogue. Okay, so let's try just this dialogue content. But he did it himself in this mat dialogue content. I don't know where the mat dialogue content happens. I guess that's the first thing to figure out is where do we have this markup? It's right here. So it's saying that I should go in mat dialogue content. Now, so that's for settings. That's not quite right. So let's go back. So this is using an ng template. I can't even remember how we set that up. Logs, map menu. Okay, so here's where we do the burger to open it, and then open how to use website dialog. Go to definition. Dialog open how to use template. So is it saying that I don't think I should have that mat dialog component content in there, but I think I should have a div that has this around the whole outside. See if we can get back to where we were at. This guy right here. So yeah, it seems like we need something sort of all the way on the outside of this with that div, like with that class. Just where I guess all we're trying to do is check to see that nothing broke, because I don't think we updated the style. Oops. Okay, so we still have this issue, but if I remember correctly, and I may not be remembering correctly. Yeah, so we didn't actually add the style that. So this is saying, hey, let that content take up 60% of the available height. That may be good. We might need to make it bigger. 60 view height. And I don't know what the view. Oh, so that's the whole viewport height. I'd probably be a little bit more cautious if we were early in the development. Okay, so yeah, that's better. It's not great, but it's definitely better than when you couldn't see it at all. So it'd kind of be nice if this table was a little bit more narrow. I think there was like I think we could probably grab onto a table. Let's see. Yeah, see, I think all we want is for the table to have just a bit of padding on the outside. So, and we actually already have a class called voice table that we can grab onto. And then padding. Probably margin, really. Margin would be the better one. In some ways, it's like the same. That's probably way too much, but really, that may not be too much. See, now padding, I think, well, I don't know, because inside of each one of these, I don't know how they did their markup. We didn't actually, we copied it straight from ChatGPT. So in tables, we have TRs, and then we have TDs, and we have strong. So we could make every TD have a little bit of space inside of it. I believe that's how you do that, but I think this is fun. So this is a pretty scary page. Tomorrow we'll go into some sort of blurbs about And that, I'll probably should put like a little danger thing or a little information thing up there that when you click on it, we um, it says, hey, I don't this we don't store any voice on our servers, and we don't collect any data. Um, I don't know. Probably best just to have this here, um, and just assume that the people who want to use this understand the technologies that they're working with. Um, it's just a tool. It's not like a mass media kind of thing. But for my other two, which I do intend just sort of regular non-developer sorts to use, um, I definitely need to do I need to really think through all of this kind of stuff. Um, but I think that looks nice. One of the other problems we'll probably have is it'll probably be damn near impossible to, when I get the API changes, to get to use the exact same um, uh, like HTML style. But maybe I think if I continue on this, I guess I could do that. Yeah, I think tomorrow what I'll come in, and then I'll say, and then can you match this style, or whatever. But I think it's very important that I actually um, continue this stream of work in this chat. Anyways, everybody, happy coding. Bye.